And with us now is Abdulla Aljenaid, a Bahraini columnist and geopolitical analyst, joining us from Manama in Bahrain. Thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
So do you think that this resupply that Washington is providing for the Saudis can help repair the relationship, or are the other issues such as the conflict with Yemen and also the fact that Biden requested the Saudis, the Emiratis, to increase their oil production and wasn't even granted a phone call with them, still sort of overshadowing this relationship and proving a large source of tension?
What I can assure you is that the relationship between the defense or even the Ministry of Defense in the U.S. and their counterparts in the Gulf region are very significantly strong. The only thing is there is major misinterpretation by the White Houses, especially during the Obama administration. We are seeing it again reflecting. The Ministry of Defense or the Pentagon realize the strategic importance of Saudi Arabia and UAE and the rest of the GCC countries. But with regard to the, in terms of the resupply of those batteries or missiles, I can assure you, from my understanding, it's never did stop. The only thing, the present situation, the Biden administration is feeding the international media a narrative of their own to signal that things are progressing in the right direction, while in fact those supplies in terms of patriot and other items have never stopped from the U.S.
Right. And how much do these other issues impact, especially the Iranian nuclear deal, which is being negotiated now? That's another issue which the GCC countries have at the top of their agenda. Do you feel like maybe behind the scenes, Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates are trying to influence the outcome of these negotiations?
Put it this way, at the present time, the collective interest by all parties in the Middle East, including Israel, is to take a firm stand from this mediocre process that is called the Vienna talks with regard to the Iranian, nuclear and non-nuclear issues on the table. We're going to continue accepting that the U.S. administration, and especially this administration, is going to represent the best interest of the U.S. allies in the region, that we are mistaken. What we need to do is step up the pressure, and even the messages that we are delivering to the United States, to Europe, and to China. They need to understand that we're going to take things, take the initiative and take probably more. Current President Mohammed bin Salman made it very clear. If Iran does develop a nuclear capable arsenal, then Saudi Arabia going to go in the same direction.
Right. Certainly, a nuclear arms race in the Middle East is in nobody's interest. But also looking at the issue of the increase in oil production, which is, of course, related to the conflict in Ukraine, then do you think that the Saudis and the Emiratis should have maybe acceded to that U.S. request to increase oil production to deal with the sanctions situation in order to influence its decisions on Vienna, or maybe the other way around, to use that as leverage in order to make the U.S. make the right decision?
Okay, let's go back just a few days back. A few days back, we've seen the oil price breach the $130 a barrel. And the United States were, knocking at the doors of every capital that to produce from 1 barrel to millions of barrels. While the Europeans saying, we have shortages, but we are not in a crisis. OPEC Plus were saying every indication now, if we go and start dumping or elevating the agreed ceiling, that this may cause bigger problem, not just for the producer, but combine the producer and the users. Now, after that, we've seen, after the European, declaration that they are facing shortages and not prices, and the OPEC Plus led by Saudi Arabia and UAE, and both have the capacity to fulfill the shortages, lacking the Russian participation or share, or market share. The prices did stabilize and went below 100. Now, what the international market, or the energy market, see is to see a capable producers managing this crisis, and not the U.S. feeding their own narrative to politicize this point of view.
Lots of interesting details there. Abdulla Aljenaid from Manama, Bahrain, columnist, geopolitical analyst. Thank you very much for helping us understand all those issues.
My pleasure.